Hi everybody, it's the Hermit here again on the famous trail, as you can see, on a early fall morning, dead calm, warm, almost humid, almost summer-like, but fall is on the way. Things are starting to turn yellow around the edges. I'm out here on a morning hike because I love mornings more than anything else, any other time of the day, and because there's less chance of showers and thunderstorms, which are in the forecast for later today. The main reason for this post, for this video, is to talk some more about salvation. Oh gee, aren't we excited? Well, you can turn me off if you want. Salvation, to me, means the connection with the natural voice inside. The Bible calls it the still small voice, and some people call it your conscience, but I think it's much deeper than that. It's what connects us through our DNA to every other life form. A frickin' banana has 50% of the same genes, same DNA that we do. That's just a little perspective. Life is connected. Hello there, friend. The American chestnut probably has 70-80% of my genes. So for me, finding salvation is pretty much the same as someone who is hiking the Way of St. James. Pilgrimage is a great way to focus the mind on less worldly things, more things greater than oneself. A pilgrimage on the Way of St. James goes by a bazillion cathedrals, and you can be prayed for just about every day, if not more than once every day. In our ordinary lives, we tend to lose the path. The Christian Doctrine, I use that kind of as my touchstone because that's what I was raised in, is that culture. Salvation by grace, once saved, always saved, versus the need to continually renew your connection with Jesus, with God, with the greater thing in the universe that basically is guiding you and created you and puts you in an environment in which you are meant to interact in a positive, right way. Okay, so we all stray, we all start sinning, as again Christianity would say, and ways to find salvation, ways to reconnect. Pilgrimages are great, and a pilgrimage can be like what I'm doing today. A walk through nature, or to a specific destination that has spiritual meaning. I really want to hike to Uluru, called Ayers Rock in the center of Australia, which to me may be the single most sacred feeling spot in the world. Don't know why, it just is, because it's been venerated by humans through a history that is back to prehistory, 60,000 years, when the first peoples of Australia arrived there. You can find salvation by repetitious prayer, or by prayer, just in general. Praying the rosary, comforting words. You don't have to wonder what you're saying. You don't have to feel all this angst about, am I saying the right thing? To my God, you repeat a prescribed saying. I think written words, prescribed words, the Bible, are guidebooks towards salvation, but not necessarily the most valuable. And of course, my thing, my point is that inside us there's the better book, the ultimate book that's been written, revised, and continues to be revised. It's a living book in the most pure sense, our DNA. So getting in touch with our DNA and how it connects us with every other living thing on the planet and with the non-living things, because DNA guides us as to how to deal with the challenges of life in our environment, our non-living environment, as well as our other species that we share the environment with. So to me, a prayer or moment of contemplation, sitting at a beautiful viewpoint, and or hiking to making a pilgrimage to a meaningful place in nature, they really make me connect with my roots, with what I feel. I feel more alive, more saved, more closer to what's really important. So on this hike, I'm hiking to a great viewpoint, and I will share it when I get to it. And I'm hiking to the Ent, the sort of my spiritual tree, which has died, and it has completely died. Last time I was there, last time I took a video of it, it had one sprouting branch that was still alive. Well, unfortunately, I came by a few weeks later and that branch has died, so there are no living branches left. The tree has died, and it's still going to remain a monument of great spiritual meaning for me. Connects me to hiking that I've done for the last decade. Viewpoints. You get to see spread out before you creation. A great vast view of creation and its beauty and glory. Waterfalls, because they add the sound of nature. They have more sensory input. The touch of the cold water, the spray, the sound. On the other hand, I love the dead silence. It is calm this morning, and it's fall. The birds are off, heading to their winter destinations. They're no longer trying to raise young and claim territory. They have stopped singing. And the wind is completely quiet today. And that is something that is, I mean, you don't shout in a cathedral. You whisper or you are quiet when you're sitting in a cathedral. And that's kind of what we got on a day like this. Again, a way that helps you connect with what's important, what's meaningful, what's greater than yourself. So there are so many ways, and my plan to hike the way of St. James, maybe it's definitely a Christian way of pilgrimage. If I were to design a pilgrimage, it would be, well, maybe closer to good old AT. That was a pretty sad old place. People, I do not understand this. They black out old white blazes. Why? What possible purpose does it serve to paint over a white blaze that they don't want to keep maintaining when it's on the trail, it's marking the trail? Okay, anyhow. The Appalachian Trail kind of tries to keep you in the wilderness, keep you away from human influence. And although it is a very social trail relative to other trails I like to hike because of the number of people on it, the number of people that have chosen it as their pilgrimage, it's probably closer to the kind of thing that I would select. If I do the Way of St. James, I am probably going to divert along the Via Alpina in Switzerland in order to hike more in the mountains. There's also the Picos de Europa in central northern Spain, just between Leon and Burgos, which are towns on the Via de Santiago, on the Camino de Santiago. Nature oriented focus on the pilgrimage. So, I mean, I got up this morning thinking, why even bother hiking the Way of St. James, which takes you through city after city and is focused on villages and towns and beautiful pastoral settings, which are almost all human settings. And of course, St. James was a pilgrim, was an apostle of Jesus, who was the human representation of the greater power. And some people think of him as, what do we got here? Oh, we have a friendly deer. I don't know if you can see it. I'm not gonna zoom, but hi, thank you for telling me you're here. Okay. Some people need a human face on their strife, on their seeking for the right path for salvation. They need someone to lead them. Okay, fine. I've always been an independent cuss, and I let nature lead me, trails lead me, what comes in the wild, not what comes from contact with humanity. Okay, well, that's the message for today, is paths to salvation. I'm building the house. It's set in nature, tentatively calling it the House of Salvation. It's going to be a tiny little thing, probably 4 foot by 8 foot, and a place above the stream, near the stream, with a constant sound of the stream, and off, so far off the grid, there'll be very few human sounds you'll ever hear. And to me, that's the kind of place that I should build a house, I believe. So, yeah, I will cut this off, and the pilgrimage is taking us to a viewpoint, and I'll kind of wander through the viewpoint and let you see it, and then I'll maybe give you a little bit more of summary of what I am thinking today when I get to the end. So for now, the hermit here on the Appalachian Trail. Beautiful, quiet morning. Signing out. Hermit! Alright, here again. So, we're getting to the point of witnessing the glory of creation, and it's an eternal thing. What is the path to salvation? What is the meaning of salvation? It is the opportunity to live an eternal life in bliss in the good place. Some faiths seem to restrict it to afterlife. Others, I think the Buddha obtained nirvana as a living being. You know what? This camera isn't fully open, sorry. So, I like the concept of communing with nature, finding one's oneness, and I get such joy from hiking. I feel like I'm in nirvana just from the joy of the place, the beauty of the place I'm in. And we're going to come to one. This is already so pretty. There's so many trees changing color here that it's a really special time of year. It only happens a few weeks a year. I like to think of my meditations on nature as reaching salvation, reaching a connection with the eternal life defined by our DNA, which is continuously alive, a string of messages constantly evolving through, well, billions of years. Billions of years. That may not be eternal life, but you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. There's fog in the valleys. What a glorious, glorious morning. Okay, place to touch with the eternal and watch the idiot put his hands in front of the camera. I hear a cricket. If there was a sound anywhere in 10 miles of here, I think I would hear it. I hear one cricket. The hermit, from a beautiful overview on the Appalachian Trail. Saying so long for now. Okay, we're close now. This part of the forest is just full of trees with wonderful character, and the character lives on long after the tree. I love this particular log with all its gnarly knobs and its moss population. Death is not the end of life, but another path one travels. The death of the ant, and there he is. Can you see him? The face that I recognize as the ant's face. I have a hard time zooming in on the right thing. There it is. That face will be smiling at us for many years to come. A monument in the forest. There are other just wonderful big old trees. That one down there, I like that great big thick one. And beyond it, There's one with this gnarly knob. I don't know if you can see that. That's the gnarly knob on a great big old tree. Certain light, that looks like the head of a face of a moose. That gnarly knob. Anyhow, every tree has its story, identity, and place in the forest. Our ant, you can see the dead leaves. And the face watching over the forest. Our ant, the shepherd of the forest, will be watching over the other trees here for a long, long time. And when it comes time to fall and pass and dissipate, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, it will still be eternally part of that life cycle. It played a role, had its place. It, like all living things, like you and I, really don't ever die. We just pass on the waves that we've created, spreading out into the universe, physical, psychological, in every sense. So death ain't so bad. Death ain't really much more than just another pilgrimage. So the ant waxing philosophical. I mean the hermit waxing philosophical as he visits the ant. So we'll sign out for now and have a little peace and quiet.